Hello, sorry I didn't get the thumbs up. Good evening. Welcome to yoga with me and Benny. I'm sure Benny will take his perch as usual in a moment. So today is Backbends, which is nothing too scary. There's some lovely stretches that open the front of the body. So think of chest, think of abdominals, but also think of strengthening your lower back, your glutes, your hamstrings. So really a backbend class is my sneaky way of letting you know you're going to be doing a strength class for the back body, but sometimes that puts people off, but you're here now. So we're going to start down in child's pose. So if you widen your knees to be a little bit wider than your hips, walk your hands away from you out onto the top of the mat. Forehead to come to rest down, and just allow yourself to settle in, to find stillness, to find a heaviness through the hips. And a lot of length through the sides of the body. Use the hands against the mat to push your body weight back, thinking of sinking your hips that little bit closer towards your heels. And another deep breath in here. And then walking your hands over off the right side of the mat so that your chest moves towards your right knee. You can choose to leave your hands separate like this, or your left hand can come to hold your right. You can give that hand a little pull as if you're trying to pull it back towards your body and feel that extra length in the left side, keeping the left sit bone nice and firm down towards the heel. Take just one more deep breath there. And then on the exhale, walk yourself all the way via the center and off to the left. And same applies, you can either leave the hands separate or the right hand can come to hold the left. Give a little pull if you wish. And really breathe into that right side of the body and grow longer on the inhale. And stay heavy on the exhale. And then walk yourself all the way back to center and rise up into tabletop. I'm sure Benny is going to take a perch any minute now. From there, take a nice deep breath in, dip your ribs down towards the mat, lift the chest and look forwards. On the exhale, rounding through the spine, hollowing out the front of the body, tailbone tucks and chin tucks under as well. Again, inhale, scoop the body down, lift the chest up, gaze forward, squeeze the muscles along the back. Exhale to dome the spine, think of pressing the spine out between the shoulder blades as you straighten and strengthen the arms. Again, keep moving, breathing in and breathing out. Great, we'll do one more here. Inhale, this is your back bending shape. The front body is stretching, the back body is strengthening. And then on the exhale, we take that counter shape where we stretch out the back body and engage the front body. From there, releasing and sitting yourself down onto your shins. And if sitting onto your shins isn't your thing and you don't like it, it feels horrible, then you can take a different seat because we'll be here just for a couple of moments. Take a nice deep breath in as you circle your arms wide and high to the sky. And then on the exhale, let the right hand come to place to the floor next to you. Take a little gaze under your left armpit and gaze up towards the sky as you reach the fingertips up and over. So again, long through the side body, and think of your hips pushing a little bit towards the left as well. Now, from here, you're going to inhale and then exhale, bring yourself upright. That arm in the sky is going to reach up, trying to go between your shoulder blades. Your right hand then reaches up and down between the shoulder blades to see if you can find your own fingertips. Obviously, you can use a strap if you prefer, if you need to use it to find the bind. And if you don't have that, just hold on to whatever you're wearing. A bit of shirt is fine. Just something for you to ground your fingers onto. Think of lifting your chin away from your chest and keeping your top elbow nice and close in towards your head. One last breath in. And then breathing out to release as we come to the other side. Inhale, arms circle wide, lift. Exhale, left hand to the floor next to you. Right arm reaches up and over. Let the chest roll a little more to face the sky. Push your hips a little towards the right and the gaze goes under the right arm. Lengthen that right side of the body, breathing in and breathing out. Great. Use the inhale, you come all the way up, the arm in the sky then goes behind your back, it nestles its way up towards between your shoulder blades, and then the left arm goes up and over, to see if it can find the bind. Give yourself a sort of time to really nestle that bottom arm under. The more that you can nestle that, the better chance that your top fingertips have to find each other. Lift the chin, lift the chest, breathe in and breathing out. And then last one, inhale. And exhale to release. Now, whenever we want to do back bending, we want to make sure we're nice and strong through our core center. So a little bit of core to wake it up. Fingertips to place alongside the kneecaps onto the floor. Keep your shoulders leaning forwards on top of those fingertips, and we're onto the tops of the feet here. Round through your back, think of that cat spine hollowed out through the chest. Press down into the hands and see if your knees can float away from the mat. And it doesn't matter how high they lift. They don't need to come as high as I've lifted. Maybe they'll just come a centimetre. Maybe they've fallen down already. But see if you can find another little bit of lift. Breathe in. And then breathing out. Place them back down. And hopefully you can feel that into your core centre. From here, we're going to think of that strength within the front of the body. Every time we're about to inhale and reach up, and I want you to sort of see if you can identify a spot on the ceiling that we can then move on from. It'll make sense as we move. So as you inhale, reach your arms up, identify something that you can see, and then exhale, release your hands back down to your sides. Now we're going to go again a few more times, and each time see if you can take your gaze that little bit further back. You're thinking of contracting the muscles in the back body, and think of breathing and expanding into the front of the body. So again, inhale, up and over, send that gaze maybe a little further back. Exhale to release. Same again, breathing in, up and over. See if you can look a little further back. You can always pause and go for the same positions if you've found your edge, but breathe in, expand into the front of the body, squeeze the lower back, and exhale to release. Last one now, breathing in, big old front body opener, and then breathing out. Release your hands. Let your hands come back onto the floor in front of you. Tuck your toes under, keep your feet slightly separated, and then push your way back until belly is on thighs. Keep that belly on thighs. Lift your hips to the sky as you come into a ragdoll fold. So make sure those knees have stayed generously bent and the body and the legs rest onto one another, so that now we can stretch out those muscles of the lower back. Obviously, we're stretching through our hamstrings as well, and you're probably feeling it there more than anything, but that's cool, that's fine. It's all the back line of the body. We're taking a nice lengthening, and you can sway your torso if you wish. Allow yourself to find strength in the legs to keep pushing the pelvis to the sky, allowing your upper body, your shoulders, your head to all stay very soft and floppy as you dangle down towards the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. And then one last deep breath in and breathing out. Good. Look down towards the mat. Take your fingertips or your hands to your shins just below your kneecaps. On the inhale, halfway lift, so your chest is pulling forwards towards the top of the mat. And as you exhale, let yourself refold those soft knees, belly to thighs, hands to the mat. Same again, inhale, halfway lift. Draw the body long, shoulders pull away from the ears. And exhale to go back towards your ragdoll. Great, this time keep those knees bent, keep your chin floppy towards your chest. Your hands come to your waist as you slowly allow yourself to roll, 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 all the way up to stand, until you find yourself standing at the back of your mat. Your feet can then come a little closer together. Find a light tuck of your tailbone so you can feel the strength in the front of the body, rolling the shoulders back. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms up and overhead. Again, send that gaze up. And as you exhale, softly bend those knees, fingertips down to the mat, head dangles freely. Exhale as you fold forwards. Inhale to halfway lift, chest is long, thighs press out behind you, lengthen the back of those legs. And then exhale, hands back to the mat. Walk your hands forwards and into plank, so shoulders are going to come with you on top of the wrists. You can widen the feet lightly if you would like to, and you can also drop your knees down for supported plank if you prefer. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Again, breathing in and Breathing out. Great. Drop those knees down. Sink your hips back onto your heels, into child's pose. Let your forehead rest down. Keep your arms extending forwards for that length in your side body. Breathe in as you hold. Breathe out as you sink. And then use your inhale. Rise back towards your tabletop. Tuck the toes, lift the hips into down dog. Find that lift through the sit bones, heaviness through the heels, and open those armpits nice and wide. So pressing into those hands to think of the chest moving back towards the legs. Pressing the thighs backwards so we're really lengthening into those hamstrings as well as the calves. Hold your belly in lightly, or maybe even firmly, to keep that core engaged to help your body hinge at that very top point. Breathing in and breathing out. Great, hit the gaze forwards to the top of the mat. Look just beyond your fingertips. You can walk if you prefer. Otherwise, see if you can take a little bend of the knees, load the springs of the legs, and then hop your feet forwards to land as lightly as you can towards the top of the mat. From there, inhale, halfway rise. And the exhale to forward fold. The inhale is riding us all the way up to stand, arms up and overhead, gaze up towards them, and then exhale, release your arms alongside your body. Great, so we're going to move, I'm just going to readjust my mat, move through a little sequence. This is similar to a sun salutation, but a little bit different. And you might notice it's all about strengthening the back body. So as I said, let's find some strength in our glutes and our lower back. So standing onto your right leg, we're going to start by lifting the left. Take a nice deep breath in. As you reach your arms overhead, pull your knee up towards your chest, keep your foot flexed, so toes up towards shin, and think about squeezing your right glutes here. Find as much length and as much height as you can. As you exhale, cross the ankle over the thigh. As you sit the hips back into like a funky chair, hands in front of your chest, keep the toes flexed, drop the knee away from you. Good, stick with the balance. If you're falling, don't worry, come back to it. Inhale, reach the arms up, pull the knee in, and exhale again back into the funky chair. If it's too much for you, you can't get your foot there, take your knee, your inner foot to the inner thigh and come to a tree instead. So there's a modification if this one is not working for you today. Good, inhale, come back to stand, pull that knee high up towards the chest. And one final time, exhale, either into your funky chair or into your tree, whichever one is working best for you today. Keep that chest slightly lifted. Keep those sit bones pushing back. Hold your belly in firm. Last breath. And then see if you can slide the foot off that thigh, step it to the back of the mat as your hands come to the floor and the back knee drops down. Untuck the back toes, and if you need to readjust the front foot, then do so. We want the front knee roughly on top of the front ankle. Left hand stays to the floor, breathing in, send that right arm to the sky and turn your chest to face those top fingertips. So there's a big old twist happening within the torso. The hips are driving forwards and down, and find a squeeze through your left glutes to help that lunge move forwards. Breathing in. And then breathing out. Hand comes down to the floor, foot is stepping back, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Take one big deep breath in and a slow breath all the way out. Great. With the right leg now, inhale and send it to the sky for a three-legged dog. Keep the left heel nice and heavy and reach those toes as high as you can. Again, strong top leg. Exhale, draw the knee under the body. We're going to place the foot between the hands and help it there if it can't quite make it by itself. It's hard to get it there without any help. From there, lunge forwards for the knee to again come on top of the ankle, but this time the back knee stays lifted. Press that back heel away from you to straighten the back leg and lift your chest, send your arms overhead. So again, a squeeze of the left glutes to drive the hips forwards and down. Front leg is also working very, very hard for us here. As you breathe in, think of your rib cage lifting up and away from your hips. And then as you exhale, your hands come down to the floor. The back foot takes a big stride in to come back to the top of the mat. Use the inhale, halfway rise, long flat spine. And the exhale to forward fold. Belly and thighs together. Great, inhale, come all the way up to stand, arms up and overhead. And exhale to release your hands by your side. Great. Coming to the other side, so we're going to stand onto the left leg. With a deep breath in, the arms rise, the right knee pulls up towards your chest. Use the strength in the leg to pull up, squeeze through your left glutes. Exhale, cross the ankle over the thigh. Option to take tree pose instead, with the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, chest faces forwards. Inhale, knee to chest, arms to sky. Feel the wobbles in that left leg as you move. Exhale, cross it back over, hands come in front of your chest. Keep that right knee dropping down towards the mat. Good, inhale, rising tall, strong through your core as well. Hold your belly in. And exhale to sink towards either your funky chair or into your tree. Hold here this time. Press the ankle against the thigh if you're here in this pose with me. Chest stays facing forwards. Breathe in, seeing if we can carry on holding. And then gently let the foot slide off the thigh. Step it to the back of the mat. Hands come down and drop the back knee down to the floor. Untuck the toes. Have that little readjustment of the front foot if you need to. Right hand to the floor. Inhale, left arm to the sky. Chest is rotating. Press down through this hand, this right hand, to help the body turn. And keep your front knee drawing in towards your chest. One last deep breath in. And then breathing out. The hand comes down to the floor. The foot steps back, hips go high and into downward facing dog. One slow round of breath. Inhale. And exhale. Left leg this time. Inhale, reach it to the sky for a three-legged dog. Think of splitting the legs as far apart from each other as you can. Exhale, draw the knee nice and close to the chest to help you get it as far up the mat as you can and give it that little bit of adjustment from wherever it lands. Press away through the back heel, use an inhale, rise into the high lunge. Make sure you've got your balance first. You can set your arms after you've found a bit of balance. Press away through the back heel, squeeze those right glutes and keep your chest lifted, chin lifted, maybe gazing slightly upwards as well. Hold here, make those legs work, breathing in. And then breathing out. Hands come down to the mat. Back foot steps in, meets the front foot. Use the inhale to halfway rise. And the exhale to forward fold. Inhale, coming all the way up to stand. Arms go alongside the ears, gazing up. And the exhale to release the hands alongside your body. Apologies for the owl massacre that is going on beside me, but at least he's leaving me alone. Moving on, a different balance pose this time. We're going to stand onto the left leg. Turn your palm to face away from you, left hand to left waist. Bend your right knee and come to hold the inside, so the big toe side of your right foot. We're moving into dancer's pose. You can stay here if balance isn't your friend today, or you can start kicking the leg towards the sky. Keep your chest facing forward, so try not to fold. You're thinking of strength in the right glutes, the right hamstring. The whole right leg is kicking to the sky, causing a stretch in the front of the right shoulder, and we're strengthening those back muscles. Hold here, breathing in. Should have said, sorry, your left arm can reach forwards to help with your balance if you would like. On the exhale, you're going to release the foot, step it to the back of the mat as the hands come down. See if you can do that with as much control as you can. Work those stabilizer muscles. Drop the back knee down, keep the toes tucked under. And then this time as you inhale, lift your chest and arms. Think of like we did at the beginning when we were kneeling, where you go up and over. See if there's that little mark on the ceiling that you can gaze towards, and we're squeezing the right glutes. We're driving the hips forwards and we're lifting the ribs away from the pelvis. Take an inhale here. And on the exhale, the hands come back down to the mat. We're going to step the foot back just to the knees, so we come towards tabletop. Keep the hips on top of the knees. And we're moving into puppy pose. Now I want you to see if you can do puppy pose on your fingertips. So as your hands walk away from you, your forehead is going to aim towards resting on the floor. It doesn't have to rest down if you don't, if that feels too far to sink your forehead that far, then let it stay upwards and feel the strength in your shoulders hold you in the stretch. The sit bones stay nice and high, so think of rolling the sit bones up as the rib cage and the chest drop down. The shoulder blades draw towards each other, but the shoulders stay strong, so press those fingertips into the mat, and it should feel quite effortful. Breathing in, and then walking your hands back onto the mat or back towards you as you breathe out. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips to the sky, and come back towards down dog. Reopen out through those shoulders. Great, right leg, inhale, lift it to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the knee again to keep it nice and close to your chest. This time we're going to step it wider than the right hand. So on the very, very edge of the mat, just make sure you're on the mat. You probably don't want to go much wider because it's really going to start moving into some crazy ranges. Left hand is staying down onto the left side of the mat. So there's a big distance between foot and hand. Untuck your back toes. Turn your chest towards your front knee. Use your right hand to just peel that leg away from you. And when I say just, as though it's that easy, big stretch into this right hip. Keep the chest turning. Think about a little bit of a lean back. So we're squeezing the left glutes. We're squeezing the lower back muscle to lean the torso away from this front leg. You're very welcome to stay here if you feel you've got enough on your plate. Otherwise, your right arm is going to make life harder for you by going all the way up and over as your back knee bends to let your hand find the foot. Now, I'm very aware that I titled this class Beginner's Back Bends, and this is a very big stretch. So if this has gone too far for your comfort zone, then you can always leave that foot bit out. But it's good to challenge ourselves. It's good to try new things or to try things that really make us find our edge. Keep allowing that foot to pull in towards your bum. You can give it a bit more of a pull if you feel that you've got further to move into. And keep allowing the pelvis to feel nice and heavy towards the mat. Last inhale. And then releasing the foot nice and gently. Place it back down onto the mat. Hands come back to the floor and the back foot is going to step in to meet, well, both feet to then meet at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the chest forwards. And exhale to fold over your own legs. On the inhale, rising up to stand, tailbone is tucked, core and abs stay strong, and exhale to release your hands alongside your body. Great, so moving to the other side, you're going to stand onto the right leg. The left palm, turn it to face away from you. Right hand can come to your waist or whatever it needs to do to maintain balance. Hold the inside part of your foot so that your chest is rolled open. The eye of your elbow sticks outwards. Keep your chest facing forwards as you start to kick that leg to the sky. Option to do whatever you need to with the right arm. Squeeze the left glutes, lift through the chest. Feel that opening across the front of the left side of the chest as that strong leg kicks back towards the sky. Hold your balance, or at least try to breathe in. And then as you breathe out, see if you can let go of the leg, and in one elegant motion, the hands come down, the foot steps back, and the knees find the floor. Keep those toes tucked under, helps us with recruiting those glute muscles. And as you inhale, lift your chest, arms go up and overhead, palms to face one another and to meet, if they will. And think about narrowing your arms nice and close to your head. Press into the ball of that back foot as though you're sprinting out of your sprint blocks. Squeeze those glutes and think of lengthening across the front of your belly. Lift the chin from the chest, breathe in, and then breathing out. Hands come either side the foot. Swipe the foot back to come to tabletop, so onto all fours, and coming back into our puppy, hips on top of knees. Hands walk away from you, option to keep them onto fingertips to make the stretch a little bit more intense into the shoulders. You can drop them down to palms, you can drop your elbows as well, if all of that is just a little bit too much for your shoulders. Keep the shoulder muscles active though. Try to find a bit of engagement in them. Breathe in, let your ribcage widen. Breathing out, find heaviness through the front of the body. Last one. And then the exhale to walk your hands back in towards you. Toes tuck under, hips lift to the sky as you find your way back to down dog. Deep breath in. And a slow breath out. Left leg this time. Inhale to the sky, three-legged dog. Reach, 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 reach. On the exhale, bring the leg forwards. We're going just outside the left hand. So stepping it as far as it can without help, and then wiggling it on its last bit of the journey. Untuck the back toes and place the right hand nice and wide. Turn your front foot out just a little bit to point off the side of your mat. Turn your torso towards this front thigh. Use your hand to push the leg away from you. So the big toe side, the foot lifts and rolls onto the little toe edge. The front side of the right pelvis drops down towards the mat. Give that foot a little bit of a press against the floor if you're looking for a little bit more engagement into that hip. And then there is the option to make life that little bit harder. Left arm would reach up and over as the back knee bends, the hand to find the foot in whichever fashion suits you. There's no particular right or wrong way to do this, and you can choose to bend that knee a little deeper to stretch into that quad a little more. Breathing in, lean that chest back, open the front of the body. Breathing out. Great, last one, breathe in. And then letting it go, breathing out, hands down to the mat. This time, instead of stepping forward, step the knee back so that you're coming towards kneeling, and you can bring yourself all the way back onto your shins. What a mess. So I want you to separate your knees to be at least hip distance apart, and you can even go a little bit further. We're going to keep the toes tucked under behind us and feet to be about hip distance apart. So we're moving into some camel variations for those that are aware of pose names and whatnot. So toes are tucked under, knees are a little bit wider than our hips. Right hand is going to come to rest onto our heel, and we're going to think of strength as always in the back body. Left arm, inhale, sweep it up and over as you push your hips towards the front of the mat. Maybe you can turn your chest and your gaze to the sky. As you breathe out, sit yourself back where you came from and move to the other side, left hand, left heel. Breathe in, right arm sweeps up and over, send it beyond your ear, reach towards the back of the mat. Breathing out, return back towards center. Again, right hand, right heel, breathing in, push the pelvis forwards, tailbone is tucked, core is nice and strong. Breathing out, sit your bum back and come to the left. Inhale, lifting, opening, reach the arm up, open that right side. And as you exhale, sit your bum back to your heels. You can just untuck your toes for a moment and let yourself slowly come down in just a soft child's pose, because we're going to come back to our camel pose. So we don't want to completely counter stretch that movement. So just a soft little child's pose just for a moment to get your breath back, particularly if that felt quite intense, which back bends often do. So we're going to walk ourselves back up. We're going to tuck those toes back under, and you are very welcome to just do exactly the same again, moving one side and then the other. Otherwise, we're going to have the option to see if we can get both hands to heel. So we're going to start with right hand on right heel. Take a deep breath in, coming back to exactly where you just came from. And now turn your chest a little more towards the sky. Option to see if your left hand can come to place down to find your left heel. And we are then into our full camel pose. The glutes are squeezing, the hips are pushing forwards, chest lifting to the sky, option for the head to drop back as well. Hold here, deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Good, let go of that left heel, come back the way you came, slowly sit your bum down. And if you need to take a little moment in child's pose, do, because we're just going to repeat it on the other side. So, just because the shoulders have a little bit of different work to do. Left hand onto left heel. Enter in the same way that we started. So lift the pelvis, push it forwards, right arm up and over. Turn the chest a little more towards the sky, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the lower back. Option for that right hand to come to see if it can find the heel. If your hips move back as you find that reach, push them back forwards and really lengthen the front line of the body. Last one here, breathe in. And then we're coming out the way we came. So right arm lets go, reaches over towards the sky. Slowly, 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 bum back towards your heels. Untuck those toes. I'm sure the balls of your feet have had enough. And then coming back into our child's pose. So hands to walk away from you. Forehead to rest down, hips nice and heavy, and just feel that stretch, that lengthening in the lower back now, which often we don't feel when we just come straight to child's pose because those lower back muscles aren't usually working so hard for us. Breathing in and breathing out. Great, and then look forwards towards the top of your mat. You might need to adjust some limbs, see how it goes. You're going to lift yourself forwards towards tabletop, lean beyond your fingertips, elbows close to your ribs as you come all the way down to the floor. So, one way or another, your belly down, elbows to now come underneath your shoulders as you come into Sphinx. Palms to face the floor, lift the chest to look forwards, press down through the front of the hips and reach out through your toes. This is your Sphinx pose. You're welcome to stay here or come back to here if any of these next couple feel too much for you. Release your chest down onto the floor. Take your hands wider than your shoulders, so to be honest, towards the edges of your mat and a little further forwards. The same applies into the hips and the legs. Push down, reach out. And as you inhale, ripple your chest off the mat. Press into your hands, but keep the length in your neck. So pull those shoulders away from the ears. Think of your shoulder blades sliding down your back. The lower back is squeezing to help the chest lift forwards. And if everything is feeling very compressed and awful here, take your hands that little bit further forwards to give you that extra length in your neck to lessen the intensity here. Hold for your last breath in. And then breathing out to lower your chest back to the mat. Now we're going to come back to this shape one last time. So choose to readjust your hands if you want to. Further away from you is less intense, closer towards you is more intense. Take a deep breath in and ripple that chest back off the mat. Face the chest forwards, long neck, strong back. From here, we're going to think of finding some strength in our hamstrings. Now, go steady. We don't like cramp. See if you can bend your left knee and think of heel towards bum. And again, don't be over ambitious. If you start to feel a cramp, you're pushing too hard. Press the front of the left hip down, pull the chest to the sky. Release that bend of the knee. See if you can keep the chest lifted as you give that right knee a little test. Press down through the front of the hip, lift through the upper body. Maybe you've got the energy, the effort within you to let both knees bend. Maybe your toes can find one another. Strong through the lower back. Remember, don't over egg it, don't go too far. And then releasing your legs, releasing your chest, and maybe being thankful that one's over. Let your forehead rest down. You might want to create a little pillow with your hands. Maybe let your hips take a little sway from left to right to allow your lower back just a moment to soften, to release out of such hard work. Great. And then let your legs zip together. So thighs come together, feet come together, and imagine you've got one big strong leg. Coming into Locust Pose, arms are going to reach out alongside your body and then come to interlace behind your back. So at this point, your forehead can be on the floor. I'm just lifting so I'm not squishing my mic. From there, you're going to take a nice deep breath in and use the inhale as like an inflation of a balloon to pull your fists towards the back of the mat. Think of floating your thighs rather than floating your feet because the legs stay straight. The shoulder blades are squeezing together, the chest is looking forwards, the chest is nice and broad. See if you can keep breathing and maintain a soft face. It's a hard pose, squeeze your glutes. And then as you exhale, let the legs come back down. Release the hands, maybe make yourself that little pillow. As you rest, let those heels fall outwards, feel the softness return into your lower back and take yourself a couple of breaths. Good, so we're going to kind of put those two poses together and it's a big pose. We're coming to bow pose and then we'll have an opportunity to make it more fun. So from your belly down position, I want you to bend both those knees again. Think of your heels pulling towards your bum and then your hands to sweep back to see if you can find hold of your feet, of your ankles, of something. Find that little hold. Now, you might not find much lift. It's not about how far away from the floor you move. It's the effort. Kick your legs to the sky, just like you did in that standing dancer's pose, that balance. Use the leg strength to kick up to find that stretch in the front of the chest. Now, because it's so hard and we generally don't enjoy these poses, let's make it fun. See if you can find a little bit of momentum and roll your bow onto your right hand side. It's harder than it looks. Once you've got it, maybe you can kick those feet a little stronger. Then see if you can roll yourself back onto your belly. Give those legs another kick, find your lift, and see if things are any easier or harder to roll onto your left side. Kick those legs out behind you, puff your chest forwards, and then finally roll yourself back to center. Release the legs, find that little pillow, that well-needed pillow. Head goes down, hips have a little wiggle, and allow the legs, the lower body, to feel a lot softer. Release. Great. From there, let your hands come back under your chest. Your knees are going to support you as you press your way all the way back up. And then slowly again, coming back towards child's pose. Belly resting towards or between the thighs, forehead to the mat, and allow yourself a couple of breaths. Great. Walk the hands in to come up towards the knees. Sitting yourself tall and then spinning your feet around. God, I've got a dead owl on the floor next to me. Legs are going to come out in front of you. You're going to spend a short moment doing some hip openers. There's lots of, obviously all the muscles in the back body are very connected. So as much as we're strengthening, we can also open into the hips. It very much helps with our back bends. So taking your right leg, crossing the foot over the top of the leg to ground the whole sole of the foot. Right sit bone stays down. Right hand is going to go behind you. With an inhale, left arm reaching to the sky, find that length. And then exhale, hook the elbow around the thigh as you take the gaze over the right shoulder. Nice big twist. Hold your belly in towards your spine to create the space for the body to turn and keep your chest lengthening up towards the sky. Breathing in and breathing out. Release and simply swap sides, she says. No fancy transitions on this one. Sole of the foot down, left sit bone down, left hand behind you. Right arm reaches to the sky to breathe in. And as you breathe out, hooking the elbow around the thigh. If it doesn't quite make it, then give your leg a little hug instead. As you look over the left shoulder. He's come to say sorry for killing that teddy. Breathing in, sitting tall. Breathing out as you turn. Great, and then coming all the way back to center. Two bent knees, feet onto the mat, and we're rolling our way down to sit. Arms are reaching forwards. Tucked tailbone, hollowed out belly, so nice and strong through the front of the body. Try to control the movement all the way down, so don't let it go at any point. Shoulders down onto the mat. Head and arms release. And just take yourself a nice deep breath. So one more little hip opener before we move to our last back bend. You're going to cross left ankle over right thigh. So that same shape we made when we were balancing. Draw the right thigh in towards your body and either interlace your hands around the back of the thigh or maybe the front of the shin if that's available to you. Pull the leg towards your body as you press the ankle against the thigh and keep that left knee moving away from you. The underside of the pelvis stays glued down against the mat. Feeling that stretch in the outer right hip. Good, give it one last little encouragement in towards you. And then releasing that as you switch the sides. Right ankle, cross it over left thigh, push the knee away from you. Curl that left thigh in, interlace the hands around whatever suits you, whatever's within reach. Press that right knee away from you. It takes strength. It takes engagement of your hip muscles to push it away, using your arm strength to pull the left leg in. Great, give it one last little encouragement, breathing in, and then releasing as you breathe out. So, like I said, our final back bends. We're going to take a bridge pose first. So we want our feet about hip distance apart. We're going to strengthen through the back body again. Press into the whole sole of both feet to lift your bum off of the mat, thinking of flattening out the front part of the body. Tailbone tucks under, core stays nice and strong. From the gap that you've created underneath, see if you can shuffle your shoulder blades closer together and then interlace your hands into a fist. Press the fist and the back of the shoulders into the floor, lift the hips to the sky and think of your chest moving towards your chin. Keep those knees pulling in towards each other. Squeeze those glutes as strong as you can. Find that lift. Great, deep breath in. And then release your hands before you slowly allow yourself to release back down onto the mat. So, you're welcome to just do bridge again if you do not want to try wheel, or if you try wheel and it's too much for you. Wheel takes a lot of upper body strength, particularly if you have tight shoulders. It's a big pose, so it's not very beginner, but that doesn't mean as beginners we can't attempt it. So the feet are going to stay just as they were for bridge, perhaps a little wider if that was already feeling quite tricky for you. Arms are going to go, palms should I say, onto the mat, above the shoulders, fingertips pointing towards my shoulders. Try not to have your feet and hands too far away from each other because there's no power to be found. So heels nice and close towards your bum, fingertips nice and close towards your shoulders. Elbows stay pulling in towards my face, towards my vision. In the same way as bridge, I'm going to lift my hips, squeeze my bum, push into my feet, and then my upper body needs to be strong as well. Press into the hands, lift the chest towards the sky, and think of sending your chest towards your hands and push into your legs to help that direction. Because when things are tricky, we tend to let all of the weight go towards the legs and we collapse. So keep sending the weight towards the wrists. Keep sending the hips towards the sky. Stretch into the belly. Option to go onto the balls of the feet if that makes you feel more comfortable in your lower back. Strong back body. Hold for the couple of breaths that you have. Make sure you leave enough energy to step your feet away from you. Chin to come to your chest before releasing yourself down. Once you have come down, and if you're in your bridge, obviously come down as well. Let your feet go nice and wide. Your knees can then fall in towards each other to come to rest against each other. Hands can rest onto your belly as you just give your body a moment to breathe a little slower. Big back bends cause a lot of changes within our body. When it comes to our heart rate, it all comes down to our nervous system. Back bends essentially make the body, it's adrenaline. So that's why back bends are very awakening and energizing, because your whole nervous system goes pew, 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 pew. So afterwards, just give yourself a minute to resettle. So then step your feet next to one another, take the opposite shape as the knees fall wide into a big diamond shape. If you like, you can close your eyes to give the body that natural signal that it's trying to slow down, wind down. Allow the breath to move smoothly and slowly. And those legs to feel nice and heavy, flopping away from your center. And then one leg at a time, stepping them out to go nice and loose, nice and floppy. Your arms to then release alongside you to do the same. Closing those eyes if they're not already, and just allowing your whole body to completely let go. There'll be nothing that you need to do but to softly breathe. And then with a nice deep breath, reach your arms up and overhead. You can point your toes for a full body stretch. And then draw your knees in towards your chest to give yourself a little squeeze, a little hug. And then softly roll your way up to seated. to a comfortable cross-legged shape. Your final inhale to circle your arms to the sky. And your final exhale for the hands to come to the belly and the chin to come to the chest. Thanks so much, guys, and I'm really sorry for the massacre. Benny is in trouble behind the camera. Oh, here he comes. Good boy. I feel like maybe he was putting up a protest because today is the last, those that maybe sorted him on my Instagram, it's the last Thursday live that I am doing because some of my real life classes are picking back up. I'm still going to continue doing my Monday evening and my Sunday morning. So apologies if Thursday has been your day, but hopefully you can join me for some other online classes at a different time during the week. If you have any questions about today's class, I know there was a lot of info and there were some big poses. I know I call things beginner and then I throw things in that are challenging. So if you found it challenging, it's because it was. But any questions or comments, I love to hear from you. Thank you so much to all of you who have helped support me with this Thursday class with your donations. The link, as always, is below the video if you so wish. Have a lovely evening, rest of your week, and I hope I can catch you on another live soon.